Guys, welcome back. Today we'll be learning our very first topic. Are you guys all excited for it? We'll be learning how you can start with structuring your website. And structuring your website is done through HTML. Currently we are learning about HTML5 because it's the most recent version of HTML. So what is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So let's understand what does markup language mean so that you can understand HTML even better. So markup language is a text encoding system of a set of symbols inserted in a text document to control its structure. So if you can understand this, it's better, or let me explain it in a better way. So markup language is a language in which you can make your text appear in different ways. Suppose you want a text to be a heading. So you can provide a symbol to it, making that the entire line to be a heading. So a heading would have characters such as it is a little bit bigger in size, it is a little bit bolder, it is a little bit thicker, or let us say the weight of the font is a little bit more, etc, etc. Let us say you want it to be a paragraph. A paragraph would have characters such as a little bit smaller than the heading. It is not usually bold but can be made bold, etc. So this is all done with the help of markup languages, and HTML is also a type of markup language. So HTML describes the structure of the web page. As mentioned in the start of the video, the HTML is the one in which we add all our text, and this is what the web page would look like or would be rendered according to it. So it is one which adds the structure. Let us say the HTML is the one which defines the heading or etc. And we'll be learning about CSS, that is Cascadian Styling Sheet, and that would be adding the various styles to these structure or these headings, paragraph, images, etc. what we'll be learning today. So HTML basically adds the structure and is the main backbone of all the web pages, as you see. So HTML consists of a series of elements. So as mentioned above, the markup language, we need to specify that this is a heading or this is a paragraph. So these are done with the help of elements. So elements are the one which would be rendered on your web page. We'll be learning about each element individually so that you can understand elements and use them in your web page. So let's hang on tight and go to the elements part. So what are HTML elements? HTML elements tell the browser how to display the context or the content. Let's say you want a line to be heading. So you would use a heading element to display a heading. Let's say you want the line to display a paragraph. So you'll be using the HTML paragraph heading or the paragraph element to display it. There are a lot of a very large number of elements which can be used for their specific purposes. We'll be learning about 3 of these elements in our class today. So guys, are you excited for it? So by the end of this video, I'll show you how you can develop a very small but a very simple web page. So this can be your first web page which you have created all from scratch. So it's very basic, but you have at least created a very unique web page, right? So that would be a great achievement, wouldn't it be? So today we'll be starting off with HTML headings. So as mentioned before, headings are the ones which are very much bold, highlighted, etc. So as soon as you see this page, what is the one which catches your eyes? So that would be HTML headings, right? Or this thing, because that is a little bit bolder, that is a little bit, the color is different, the weights are different, etc, etc. Even the search engine optimization. So as you can see, I head over to this page, and there is an entire page written about why you should use headings effectively and how you should structure your headings. So headings are the one which the user catches attention on, and even the search engine optimization or SEO will always look for these headings. So it is very much important that you learn how to use these headings in a web page. In today's class, I'll be just showing you how headings would be used, but there is a structure which you need to follow. Suppose there is a very important title, so that would be the H1 heading. So heading starts from H1 to all the way to H6. H1 would have the highest importance So it would be the font would be very huge, the size or the boldness etc. would be very huge for H1 heading as compared to H6 heading, which will be nearly equal to paragraph, which we'll be learning in the future. So let's begin using a Linux report which I taught in the first class to learn about these headings. So let me get over to this page. As soon as you open, let me create a new report for that. Let me keep it as HTML CSS and let's keep it as lesson 1, and I hit on create repo. Ta-da, and it's done, I guess. Yeah, it has already created a repo for me. Okay, so let's start. So let me just delete all of them so that you can have a fresh way or just understand everything from scratch, right? So that in that way everything you understand or everything you write would have a meaning to it. Okay, I have deleted everything. So let us start off the very basic thing. I add a index.html. Always remember, every web page would always have three things. One, the home page, or it's also called as index.html. Two, the style.css, which will be used to style this particular web page or any web page as common. And three, the script.js that will be used to add a little bit dynamics to your web pages. So let me just create an index.html and it's done. Okay, so yeah, so it's done. Let me start with the doc type. So this is the document type HTML. That is what you're going to write first. There's a little bit of vulgar code which I will be not showing you guys right now, but I'll be teaching that in the future classes. So let's now try to understand the very basics. So as just now I showed you how the heading tags work, right? So let me take H1 heading and let me just copy this so it is easier rather than typing it all the time. Give me a second. Yeah, let me just copy the heading once. Yeah, so H1 is this big. Let's say H2, and I just add this and I click run. So as you can see, the size keeps on reducing, and let me do this a couple of times, that is for each of the H1s. So let's do it for H3 as well. Instead of rendering it each time, let me just do it again for H4, H5, and H6. Should I go even further? No. Those are the maximum number of headings which you can have in your web page. So let me just render for you. Let me just check it once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I not missed on anything, fingers crossed, everything's right. So let me just run. So as you can see, it has formed a type of a pyramid. Let me just try running H7 if you had an idea what it would give. Let me just hit run H7 headings. What do you think can this give us? Would it be visible on the screen? No, as you can see, it has taken it as a paragraph or a normal paragraph and stuff because H6 is the last thing which you'll be running. So heading 1, as you can see, the boldness, the height, the width or the font size keeps on reducing by using different headings. So this is how you can use headings in your web page. So in this web page, they have showed you how and why you should be using headings. So it is called Yoast. You can check over this page, SEO of everyone, and how to use headings on your site. So in this site, you can see how it is important and how it is very much important to structure your headings. And they have mentioned a way in which you can add headings, which is just now how I have taught you guys. So that's done. So I hope you understood headings. Now let's come to the next part of your web page. So you have your heading ready. So what would be next? In grammar at least, if you come to the very basic grammar, as soon as the heading, you write a paragraph, or let us say you write a description about it, right? So what it is called? It's called a paragraph. And HTML, when it was created, the users or the creators of HTML made it so simple that H stands for heading, P would stand for paragraph. So let's learn about the next one, that is HTML paragraph. The HTML paragraph defines a paragraph. The HTML P tag defines a paragraph. Always remember that most of the tags in HTML would always have a closing tag. It's not necessary for each element to have a closing tag, but most of the elements would always have a closing tag associated to it. Oh, it's okay. So let us understand what does a paragraph mean. So let me just do it over here itself. So let me just write P and let us say, hey, I am a paragraph. So now you can see, hey, I'm a paragraph. So as I mentioned earlier, the h7 looks like it is the same as the paragraph tag. Yeah, it is the same as the paragraph tag. So we have learned two things right now, right? In the future classes, I'll be teaching you how you can, like add colors, or let me just teach you guys. Let me just give you a hint of what I'm saying. Let us say I want to style this heading with, with something like color to be blue. Black wouldn't make a difference, so blue. It's blue now. So this is the style which you're giving. I'll be teaching you in the future about various styles in which you can apply, but now, as you can see, it is a bit more different, right? You can play around with this. You can give different colors for different headings. You can do the same thing for this as well. Let me just copy this paragraph. Yeah. Let me just style this thing as well. Give me a second. Yeah. And I hit run. Hey, now it's looking better, isn't it? You can add different colors with what you like. Suppose you're a person who likes red, the headings should be very bold and red. You can add or just make it as a red. Let me just show you how to do it. Let's just change the color to red and hit run. Now it's looking more like a heading, right? So now we have understood two important topics. One, the heading. Two, the paragraph. So both of them are very much important in every web page where you visit. No matter what's the web page you go, there will be three things, or let's say 3 to 4 things which should be common to all the web pages. So one, the headings. Each web page would always have a heading. Two, the description of the paragraph. So every page would obviously have a paragraph associated with it. Three, it's one of the most important things in a web page, images. So as soon as a user visits a web page and there is an image, the user's attention is all towards the image. That's why many of the web pages have images associated with them, because humans have a tendency to look at images and the attention is more focused towards it. So let's learn about that. The HTML images. The HTML images can improve the design and appearance of a web page. The HTML is an image img tag and used to embed an image in a web page. The img tag has two attributes. Okay, instead of saying it img, let us just call it the image tag. It feels, or it sounds a little bit better. Yeah, one important thing to note about the image tag is that it doesn't have a closing, it doesn't have a closing tag. See, headings, as you saw, has a closing tag, right? There is a h1 opening tag over here, and there is a closing tag over here. But images, on the other hand, don't have a closing tag. Very much important. Keep this in your mind. So attributes. We'll be learning attributes in the future, but let's focus on the two things image tag would have. One, it would have the src. that is the source, or specifies the path from where you'll be importing your image to the website. Alt, which also stands for alternative. Suppose the image is not being able to be displayed on the browser. Suppose the browser is not compatible with that. Or let's say the link from where you copied the image is not there anymore. So at this particular time, the Alt tab would show an alternative. We'll be learning about this now with a live demonstration, okay? So let's say I want to add an image over here. What image do you guys like? Let's say I want to add an image of basketball. I don't know why it came, but basketball seems to be a very good sports and I like basketball. You can add whatever you like. So let's say image src equal to, as mentioned before, src, you put the source of the image. Let's say I want to search something, right? And let me just open my Google and type in basketball. One of the recent match. Yeah, this looks like a very good image. Okay, so I just right click on the image and just copy the image address. I come back to my replit, paste in the image address over here inside the src. Make sure that the image address is between the quotes, okay, always. Okay, this looks like a huge address to me. Wait, is it that huge? Okay, let me just change this thing and let us get a better, cleaner image if possible. Wait, let me try this thing out. Copy image address. Let me paste it over here. Oops, looks like all the image addresses are huge for some reason. Let us look for a simple one. If we can, look for a simple one. This looks also very good. Let me just see if I can get the image address of this. Copy the image address. Yeah, copy the image address. Let's see if this is a little bit smaller or what. Yes, finally something which is smaller. Yeah, it doesn't have a closing tag, but it does have a closing arrow mark like this. So let me run. Yay! As you can see, there is a web page over here which has headings, images, and a paragraph. Doesn't this page looks very good rather than, okay, it has a lot of changes to be made, but you're kind of getting the idea of how web pages are made, right? Suppose this image wouldn't have rendered. Let's say I just missed something over here. Let's say I have missed a few things in the URL, making the image undetectable or something, like unrenderable. Let's say I have removed a few things like this, and now I play running this thing. So as you can see, it's displaying a box kind of thing, right? And you don't want the user to do this. This can happen if the browser is unable to, like show that. So this can be solved using ALT, which means an alternative. So I'll be providing an alternative saying that it is a basketball. Now let's try running this. As you can see, it will be showing basketball. So this is very much helpful when you can't, like the browser fails to recognize your image or the link is broken, so that the user at least knows that there is an image missing of a basketball over here. So now you guys might have understood about 3 things, right? Let's have a quick recap. So we understood about headings, that how headings work and why they are so much important. We understood about paragraphs. We understood about images. Now, with these 3 things in mind, let's make ourselves a small web page. So, you guys ready? Yeah, I have taken a lot of your time, but I will make it as short as possible and you will be gaining your first web page from this. So let's get into it. So let me just delete this and okay, let me keep it over here so that you can know about this. Okay, let me just create a new one and let me just call it let me just keep it my first page dot html. So as mentioned before, we'll first add the doc type to be html. Next we are going to, okay, how do you guys want this web page to look like? That's very much important, right? So let's start with that first. Okay, so let me just give it h1. So let's say I'm designing a page for a beautiful tree. Let's say this is let's say the heading to, let's say it to be a tree or something. Let's say this is a tree, and let's say, let me just put in a paragraph saying that I love playing around the tree. Oops, a typo over here. Around the tree, it makes me remind of my childhood. You guys can fill up whatever you want. Okay, this should be enough. Let's say I'll teach you another trick over here. Let's say you have an image. Rather than a trick, I would say how to use an image. So let's say you have an image in your downloads folder and you want that to be over here, right? So how do we do that? That is very simple. So first download an image which you want. Let's say, wait, just me look, just an image regarding trees. Okay, no worries. I just download an image from here. I just search a tree image, or choose whichever is beautiful and whichever looks good for you. I think this would rather remind me of my childhood. So now let me just show you, let me just download this. So save image as, I just save the image. Just make sure I'm, yeah, okay. This is a tree image. Click on save. Now let me just come to my Replit. Okay, here it is. Now I thought about image, right? Image src equals, okay, now how to find the path or how to find this path. So first you got to upload this here. So upload a file, you come over here and it was in my desktop. Make sure you know where you're saving it always and click on open. Okay, now it has been done. Alright, let me just, it's over here, it's a tree.webapp and alt is equals to, it's a tree. Yay! Let me just close this. Click run. Oh, it's waiting, it's running. Okay, wait, doesn't it run? Should I delete this? Now let's click run. What does it give us? Okay, we have to name it as index.html. Make a note of this, guys. Always make a note of it. And I didn't expect this to happen. Now let's run this. A tree. So as you can see, we got a heading, we got a paragraph. You can guys always write as much as you want, and we got a beautiful tree. So this is how websites are really made. Websites can be a little bit complicated, but the basic is the headings. You'll be using paragraphs, you'll be using images, and a lot of other features which you'll be learning throughout this course to make beautiful web pages. So make sure you practice the same at whenever you're free. So the three things which you have learned is the headings, paragraph, and images. But obviously you can make simple pages out of it. I hope you had a very good time, and thank you. See you soon.